Being constantly surrounded by information you don't want to hear can be a tiring experience for Trump supporters. With Donald's legal issues, his inappropriate comments, and his countless lies, it has made it difficult for his loyalists to ignore these facts. To avoid learning anything they would rather not know, Republican voters have placed a series of defensive tactics between them and reality. Today we will be discussing a few of the more common strategies they utilize. The first example we are going to look at is when Adam Mockler attempted to interview Brian Glenn. You might remember Brian is the fellow who has the unfortunate responsibility of attempting to breed with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I feel that most people would gain a firm grasp of this man's stupidity simply by peering into the lifeless eyes of America's dumbest elected leader. Let's take a look and see what kinds of defenses Brian has put in place to avoid learning any of Adam's facts today.
Do you think Donald Trump, when he was convicted on all 34 counts, what did you think about that?
Because that doesn't mean, Matt, and none of those 34 counts is worthless. You got a worthless case. You got a case from the FEC.
Why is it worthless?
It's worthless because there was no crime that was committed.
Falsifying business records with the intent of covering up another crime.
But
Michael Cohen went...
That's what they said. That's what you say.
That's what the jury said. The jury handpicked by Donald Trump's lawyers.
I know exactly what you're all about right now. You're not an independent journalist. You're nothing but a Trump hater, and you're out here trying to get everybody to be tripped up. Let me ask you a question.
It is clear almost immediately that Brian is going to be unable to maintain an adult conversation unless it's one that parrots the lies he believes. Instead, he relies on the tried and true method applied by most Republicans. By stating that everything he doesn't like about reality is actually fiction, he is able to distance himself from providing an answer to the question he was asked. The moment Adam counters his false rhetoric with fact-based information, Brian and his paper-thin shell of lies fell apart. Once Adam reminded him that Trump's own lawyers were involved in the jury's selection process, he knew he was left with only one defense: anger. Interrupting Adam before he can even finish the sentence, he waves his hand into Adam's personal space and increases the volume in which he is speaking, while being fully aware that nothing larger than a field mouse would be intimidated by his wrath. Brian is left with no choice but to involve other members of the right-leaning crowd to help fend off the scary questions Adam is asking him. Next on our checklist of mouth-breathing knuckle-draggers is this ignorant Trump loyalist. While speaking to attendees at the Las Vegas rally in June, this young man noticed a woman fighting with a coyote over a discarded turkey bone. Motioning for her to move away from the garbage dumpsters, he was finally able to ask her a few questions about why she felt Donald Trump was the only man she wanted as president. While managing successfully to have her mouth and lungs produce noise, you'll notice that not one thing this woman has to say would lead anyone to believe she completed the 7th grade.
Would you vote for someone that's been held legally responsible for sexual abuse?
Well, we've got one in office now that's got the same issue. What's the difference? We've had people in there, like Bill and Hillary.
Did they get held liable for sexual abuse?
No.
So would you vote for someone that was held liable for sexual abuse?
No.
But Donald Trump has been held liable for sexual abuse, so why would you vote for him?
We need something different in the country. I mean, he's not a pedophile.
What about him saying that he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years?
Going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Or him saying something in common that he has with his daughter is sex when she says real estate and golf.
Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that to.
I didn't hear that one, so I don't know. Don't have an answer.
Would you like to hear it?
No, I'm good.
While her answer to his question was obvious, Parker has successfully made his point. Whatever lies the right-wing media would have her believe do not apply in the same manner when speaking about a god emperor. With her view of Donald Trump akin to that of a real-life deity, there is literally nothing Parker could ask her that might help her better understand the ignorance of her stance.
So would you still vote for him regardless of hearing these things?
I am still going to vote for him, yes.
Why?
Because we need a change in the government. And there's nobody else in the candidacy, and at least when he speaks, he's clear. He's not having to stumble. He's not missing cues, everything else.
I had the best word, anonymous, really anonymous. They sacrifice every day for the furniture and future of their children. Tim Apple, Mike Pound, Yosemite, Nambia, Thailand. I tested positively toward negative. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. God bless the United States.
He's going to say it like it is.
So is that why he consistently lies all the time about the election?
Who doesn't lie?
Well, he does all the time, and we know that he's lying. Like, for example, he said that he wouldn't have abused E. Jean Carroll because she was quote-unquote not his type, but then in a deposition mistook E. Jean Carroll for his ex-wife.
It's Marla.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla, yeah. That's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here. Oh, is that?
The person you just pointed to was
I
E. Jean
see.
Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
And the woman on the right is your then wife,
I don't know.
Ivana?
This was the picture. I assume that's John Johnson. Is that Carol?
So either he's incoherent and couldn't tell the difference between his ex-wife and someone he sexually abused, or it was the case that she was his type and he would have abused her.
I don't have an answer for that one.
We know you don't have an answer for that one. What you do have, though, is a brain made out of Jell-O pudding and the intelligence of a houseplant. Fox News hasn't taken the time to instruct you on how you're to respond to that, so you're unable to do anything but stand there with a dazed look on your face, hoping the next question will allow you to continue spewing your nonsense.
Do you think Trump won the 2020 election?
I do.
If we were to say that the election was stolen, do you think that the 17 appointed judges specifically by Trump that oversaw court cases about the election that did indicate sufficient evidence to overturn the election, do you think they're treasonous and corrupt?
I do.
Do you think Trump drained the swamp?
I do.
How did he drain the swamp if he actually appointed corrupt judges?
It wasn't all corrupt. There are a number of them in there, but then again, money tends to sway people. Even though he is a businessman, everything else, you can't control the other person.
Do you know a single good businessman that has 6 bankruptcies?
No. But with that too, he's come back from each and every one of them and built stronger. So, in essence, lessons learned.
Madam, that may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because of the penalties and black mark against your name alone, it's nearly impossible for most people to even get back to where they were. Claiming someone gets stronger after numerous bankruptcies is no different than someone claiming to be better at driving after each motor vehicle accident they cause.
Would you vote for Bill Gates?
No.
Isn't he a better businessman than Trump, though?
I have my issues with Bill Gates. So we'll leave it at that.
Do you have issues with Donald Trump?
No. He's up front. Everything that's there, he's gone through all this stuff. It's been put out publicly. And I will say, with the media, even though this is so-called a free country and, everything's supposed to be out there, it's not. It never has been. It's all regulated. It's all watched. And it's all put out there the way people want it that are in the position to moderate it.
If it's all corrupt, how did Trump win originally?
The people wanted something different.
So the people had control?
Well, the people voted. The other part of the problem is within that you've also got the electoral board there that in a sense also does control, where it happens with the vote, with the voting as well.
Isn't that how Republicans have won for the past 20 years? They haven't won the popular vote, but they've won because of the electoral votes?
It can vary.
Could you name one policy that Donald Trump influenced to get passed that benefit the middle class?
I can't name it off the top of my head.
Well, don't worry. I appreciate you having this conversation. Thank you so much. It was good talking to you.
All right.
Wonderful job with this one, Parker. You lasted quite a bit longer than I would have in your place. When it became apparent that this woman was simply making shit up, my desire to give her attention began to fade. Blaming the electoral vote for your party's issues when it's the only reason Republicans have had any presidential authority since the towers fell would lead me to believe this woman was nothing more than the blithering idiot happy to excuse any acts her orange Jesus would commit. With her proving to have no desire to see evidence of his shortcomings simply because it would require her to think up another excuse. Speaking to this woman about anything she doesn't agree with will be a challenging course for all who dare try. It's of the utmost importance that we remember this woman is but one of them, and millions of these morons still exist, some of them being even more upfront about the hypocrisy and ignorance they choose to force upon the world. Now we get to see another one of the more basic tactics these brainless zombies will resort to. While speaking with this recovering meth addict, Jason Selvig of The Good Liars is quick to point out the absurdity of the artwork upon his shirt. Let's take a look at this interview and see how quickly this man will falter when asked about his opinion on current events.
The shirt says not guilty. Was this made before the verdict came out when he was found guilty?
Yeah. Yes.
But he is guilty now, right?
Not to me.
But he was proven guilty in the court of law.
Yeah.
So we could put like a piece of tape over it, so just to say it's guilty now?
I guess you could. Him saying he was going to grab a woman, nobody cared, dude.
Why didn't that bother you when he said he's going to grab women by the pussy?
Because I'm a fucking man, and that's how men talk.
They say they want to sexually assault women?
No, he didn't say he wanted to sexually assault women. When men are by themselves, they talk about girls all the time, dude. I'm not saying they talk about them bad or that, this or that. I'm just saying that's how it is.
I think what shocked people there is that he said when you're famous, you can do whatever you want to women. And he's just saying he could just grab them even without consent.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's not okay to do, but I never heard him charged with ever doing that.
Well, he was found liable in court with the E. Jean Carroll case.
I don't care about E. Jean Carroll either, dude.
And there you have it. By indicating that these acts weren't okay to physically take part in, and that he also had no interest in knowing about when Trump was found guilty of them, this know-nothing moron is able to avoid Jason's attempts to bring him back to reality. Yes, you heard him correctly. When reminded of the fact that Trump was recently found guilty of the heinous acts being discussed, aside from admitting that he's an idiot, stating that he didn't care about Miss Carroll was the only option Jason left him with. Thank you all again for watching another video with us. We have just started Volume 2 of the MAGA Morons of America, so be sure you've got yourself subscribed with alerts on. Thank you again, and whatever you do, vote blue.